Welcome back. I just really need to finish this up, dude. So yeah, this not waste any time. Okay, everything's fine.
이번에도 치령의 뜻은 본인과 같군.
Oh,
치사하게 자기 혼자
oh my god,
사기꾼
is it
둘둘
just
감고.
always gonna be this?
너흰 저런 거 없어?
Okay, whatever.
없다고? 그럼 쩔 수 없긴 하지.
Alright, hold on. There we go.
예측할 수 없게.
Wow. Wow. Really?
너무 뻔하잖아. 내 차례네. 심장을 노려.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
차.
쳐다보긴 우리는 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸래. 가속 펀치. 결정.
I wasn't even paying attention right there.
확실한 것은 없네.
이루어질 수 없는 희망도, 추락해 흔적조차 남지 않은 희망도 모두 나의 바람이었듯이, 적이 건넨 도움 또한 도움일 테지.
Actually, there we go.
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지.
Who did you just kill?
그대 흔들려.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸래.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지워 숨이 닿도록 베어냈군.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야지. 심장을 노려. 미래를 과거와 같이.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야.
Malalalalalalala.
너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
What?
자신 있으면 받아봐.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모들 같았어.
그렇지. 바로 그거다, 딸내.
심장을 노려!
수는 안 통할 거다.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 원망도 옅어지나.
Boink. Boink. What? Okay, you can attack there. One of y'all gotta change. Oh, okay.
그려낸 대로.
둘.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
훌륭하구나.
심장을 노려!
역할대로.
그렇지. 바로
어느새 해금하겠네. 먼 치킨, 압도적인 전력. 가끔 질릴 때도 있지만 역시 늘 먹던 맛에서만 느껴지는 도파민이 있다니까.
But it clearly did.
예측할 수 없게.
쳐다보기엔 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 원망도 옅어지나.
그래. 이 정도면 지켜볼 가치가 있겠지.
Bye-bye. Well, why am I already feeling tired? It's freaking 8 or 9, whatever time it is right now.
반드시 팬다. 아비들도 거미집도 지금까지와.
Hardly a challenge. What a waste of time. That one was clearly obvious. Whew. Well, at least they're not much of a fighter one-on-one. Service desk closed. It's not a combat specialized department. While they have all undergone basic combat training for exigent circumstances, they are not prepared for head-on conflicts such as this. Yeah, I noticed. They kept taking pictures of us with their briefcases. I'm guessing that's their primary job description? I mean, what else would it? No, never mind. What are they snapping away? What are they snapping away for then? Whispering behind our backs like a load of creeps. Collecting photos to include in the report for the higher ups, I'd wager. Hold up. Yes, I'm getting distracted. So, whatever. Okay. I can kind of see how they could think we're involved in this somehow. Every time they followed their lead, they ended up encountering us. It's hardly a surprising rationale. I know I'm going to leave that in the video because I don't care. Mersault stood a footstep away from the rest of the sinners and watched in silence as they tried to come up with an explanation. Though if I don't leave it in the video, then that's a surprise. For me, not for y'all, for me. What is he thinking? What is it that he wishes to say? Or is he simply contemplating, observing without any perceived emotions in his mind? His silence should have been any different from his usual reticence, but as though by some chance of whim. Hey, Mersault. I was struck by this sense of brief yet distinct strangeness and was compelled to speak with him. Yes, manager. Don't hesitate to let me know if there's something you want to say, but aren't sure if you're supposed to say it. Yes, manager. I will do as you ordered should one such circumstance occur. As always, his reply was as deflating, concise, and direct. As though he had some rule of his own that told him this was a specific response for situations like these. Okay, but I'm talking about right now, actually. Do you have anything to say right now? No, I do not. It did not appear to me that he was trying to hide anything or choosing his words in response to my question. His reply was simply that, an answer, nothing more. Yes, a prepared answer written down in a list of responses. That's what it felt like to me, as though this particular answer had always been the only one he had available for situations like these. Clearly prodding him for answers wasn't going to get me anywhere, so with a curt, sure if you say so, I turned away from him and took off to join the other sinners. As I did so, a few words lingered at the tip of my proverbial tongue, asking to be let out, so I did. It would have been nice to know what you were looking at. Of that. He spoke. I cannot form a judgment. What? That is because the precise definition and nature of the subject of my gaze are just as unknown to me as to you. Should you point to an object or an enemy, I can provide a verbal explanation based on my current knowledge. If you require such information, please rephrase your question accordingly. And I asked him again then, and I tried to get to the bottom of that line of questioning. Could I have found myself the smallest peek into Mersault's psyche, which had remained entirely shrouded in mystery even after an entire year of traveling together? I suppose that's not up for me to judge as well. Manager. Yeah? I know the battle is imminent. As you have previously instructed, I have informed you of an imminent battle. Yo, Boss Clock, are you just gonna sit there all day while we do all the fighting? They're pouring out of that building over there. So they must have been on their way to that building. Well, our path ahead seems clear, Executive Manager. Let us neutralize those foes and head up there. Yeah, gotcha. Be right there. The brief lull of battle came to a close, and battling enemies who arrived precisely at the time Mersault had predicted, we made our way into the building. Bloody hell! Them blokes we fought downstairs must have been the weaker ones of the bunch. Wow, I am struggling to say things right now. How does N-Corp have so many guys on their payroll? There's no end to them. Haha, it is a wing after all. Ring? How did I say that? Are these the taboo violators? I thought the culprit worked alone. No, I'm quite certain that they are ones from the subsequent reports. The N-Corp fixers appeared just as confused as we were. It was clear to me that they were expecting to find the taboo violator here, not a big group of a dozen or so people. What were they thinking, sending father like us to deal with an organized taboo violation? They should have sent taboo hunters here instead. Why do you think they told us to consume canned experiences containing mass melee combat? They must have thought our current manpower would suffice to deal with this. I don't know about that. Wait, wasn't it an extra report that one of them say, all of a sudden, with a click, the room began to buzz with the metallic whir of some kind of machinery. Please don't flashbang me! And immediately, I could tell what it was. Distortion. Standing in the middle of the shabby room was a device I wasn't sure if I had seen before. Its exterior was plastered with strange shapes that looked similar to what we saw in the to Unokun's, I don't know how to say it, bro, faces in our earlier battles, making it difficult to grasp its full shape. The round object affixed to it began to rotate slowly, with the dull, worn-out groan of a thing past its prime. Men! Shield your eyes! Oh, did multiple people say that? I almost clicked the wrong thing. Yes. The moment it began to emit a faint ray of light, Otis thundered in a commanding voice. Gah! I quickly turned away as well, making sure not to catch even a glimpse of it. The device could be playing a recorded video, Executive Manager. Even a brief look at it could constitute a taboo violation. Shit! I saw that! I'm so finished! Just as panic began creeping into the voices of several unlucky individuals. Oh man, folks, this is starting to get a little embarrassing. A sleepy voice breaks through the darkness past my, metaphorical speaking, shut eyes. Mentor? Eyes open, Ungdo. What's wrong with everyone? Got dust in your eyes? The hell's wrong with you? Don't you know that anyone who watches even a split second of recorded video in Encore gets... Of course I know, but I watched it anyway. Open your eyes, esteemed fellows. This motion picture isn't recorded. Hang on, he's right. That video is not recording. So, hold on. Okay, so you had us worried like for nothing, basically. Bruh. Hold on. Boo. Whoops. What? What's going on? Hold up. Okay. Possibly emboldened by Ken's comment, or perhaps believing that saying the video could be excused as an incidental exposure incurred while subduing violators, the N-Corp employees also opened their eyes and began to mutter amongst themselves. Is that thing talking to us? I finally allowed myself a good look at the machine, which was firing a conical beam of light against a side of the wall. And this was its message, delivered via white words on a black background. So, you tracked me down this far. The heck was that? After what I went through to take refuge in here, they still ended up finding this place. All of you blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience without even the care about the real thing. Case number TCD-224. You are under suspicion of Category 3 violation. Reveal yourself now and forfeit your illegal recordings. Should you comply, we will. What is foolery but witless buffoonery in the absence of fools? The hollowed vessel, bereft of all but lingering delusions, grants not even a bruit of echo to the dogged excoriation of tools. What's this fellow on about? If you mean to extract our official duties, we won't hesitate to use force. Without even so much as turning around, bamboo-handed Kim raised his sword and parried away the N-Corp employee's nail-shaped weapon. I'm only speaking as my whim guides me, my dear fellows. No need to get so huffy. I only aim to say that this abomination has no consciousness. After what I went through to take refuge in here, I still ended up finding this place. Oh wait, it's the same thing again. It's repeating the same sentences over and over. Now that does make me wonder. Was I just as far gone when I just floated? Past all words and reason? I mean, if anyone has an answer to that question, it'd be you folks, right? Kim said nothing more. He turned a piercing look on us, all the while effortlessly swatting away the N-Corp employees' attacks. As though he was goading us into telling him the truth. Well, not suppose there's any point in asking. I am no different from this abomination. Just as it wields that contraption, I must have wielded the only thing I have really known, the blade, transforming into a mindless fiend, consumed by a mere tool, cleaving through both friend and foe and unrestrained. Hey Junior, are you still on about that? I tried to avert my eyes, I truly did, but such disregard is easier said than done. How can I, when that distorted being has no qualms showing me the... Doesn't he know how rude the unsolicited? I don't know, bro. Reflecting of the phantoms of one's is, there's got to be illegal or something. Illegal, I say. Turning a customer into a thug on the protection racket gun. A mere ant before a car in motion into a swerving driver. Conjuring dead followers before the eyes of their mentor. Simply unconscionable. Rude as hell, as some might say. My poor heart almost burst out of my chest, courtesy of you. In that split second, I think I saw Mersault's eyebrows twitch. A battle is imminent, manager. It's a natural response to sensing an imminent battle, perhaps? I almost messed up. Ooh, what happened to it? What? Oh, come on! Bro, you got flashbang me again? I did not mean to say flashbang. A blinding flash followed by an explosive bang. My vision immediately went white and decided to take its damn time coming back. Whew. And when it did, the first thing that came into view was a particular unsettling landscape of escort, followed by bamboo-headed Kim surrounded by a small army of Chu Unokan. Mentor! Keep that up and you'll shout me death, Angdu. Isn't it about time we both grew accustomed to such sights? Mentor, still do I wake from these dreams, drenched in cold sweat. My tongue is going dry again, but in my mouth. How are you going dry? It's so freaking stupid that they might bind and drag you away. Yeah, this isn't so bad, is it? It's just these folks so far, unlike earlier when... Another flash. Bro. What was that? Everything went dark. Now, I don't understand what's happening. But first things first, we have to neutralize everyone here and get our mission back on track. Adjusting projection. I've been straying far and wandering all day for the exact reason, and so that was his mechanism. Boss? The words began to shift rapidly before I had the chance to ask Klaus what she had meant. To the one who finds comfort setting in lies, I give you what most deserved your gaze. Bro! Bollocks, I'll be blind before today's over at this rate. Bruh. Hold on. Okay. It changed. It did? Unlike the earlier instance, one of the distortions is different from the others. As Mersault identified, there was something different from the group of two Unokan this time. They were accompanied by someone else. A warrior in impressive armor, wielding a sword that was just as tall. Their armor, and the great Huando of the South Circle. to be reunited in such a manner. The warrior drew a bow that hung from the waistcord and knocked an arrow. I suppose this is how it would have gone down, had you been the one to grab me. Military Commissioner Im Kyung-yup. How do you fare, friend? At the signal's arrows loosing. Seize the accused! The warrior loosened the knocked arrow, which roared into the sky with a piercing whistle. And with that air-splitting sound as their cue, the two Uno-kun began to swarm us. Yippee! What?
치사하게 자기 혼자 사기법도
Holy bizarre, bro.
너흰 저런 거 없어? 아? 없다고? 그럼 쩔 수 없긴 하지.
Why are these neutral? Oh, that's why. Still attacking it, dude. You know what? Okay. That's counter attack, but no, let's not have you attack them. We need you to just get rid of them. You can attack them. You can attack them. And, who are you attacking with this? Ishmael? Wait a minute. Weren't you attacking? Yes, you are. I want to try something, so this is just a test, y'all. I should start.
예측할 수 없게.
하나.
쳐다보긴
이제
우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
갖고 놀기 틀렸다. 그쯤 해줬으니 포장지 한번 벗겨야겠군.
Bang. Bang. Oh, excuse me.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
No way you missed that.
심장을 노려. 야. 차.
How are you still rolling these? I mean, flipping these. I'm sorry, I'm too used to saying roll.
바로 그거다 딸래.
Nah, that was some insane bad luck right there.
다소 펀치.
이 순간이 다 들어 베어내리라.
I still can't get over the fact that she somehow missed that freaking singular head.
저런 실수도 나오는구나.
Well, missed most of her heads. I forgot what I was saying, bro. I guess? Maybe? Okay. Wait, someone's... Who did I put? No, why y'all both attacking that person? You want? I won't question it. Okay, let's see. Yes. Yes. Who are you attacking? I can't see. Is it? Oh, it is Otis. That's attacking Heathcliff. That's attacking Don. These are high priority though. I don't trust that. Where is this attacking? That's also attacking Don though. Figure you're gonna attack this too. You can just attack all this, I guess.
재밌겠는데?
하나, 둘, 학살!
둘.
쳐다보긴 우리는 멋있는 건 알아.
No way! We serious right now, Ishmael? That's what I somewhat expect, really.
내 차례네. 심장을 노려.
I still can't get over the fact that you somehow got nothing. Well, most of the time.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
미래를 과거와 같이.
너희가 걸어야 할 수라의 길은 여전히 그 끝이 보이지
You're clashing them already, so I don't see the point.
또 멀고.
And this one, I might as well just let them do their thing. Meow. Meow.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
대전.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
셋째.
What?
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 원망도 옅어지나.
그렇지. 바로 그거다, 딸내.
심장을 노려.
What the heck? What just happened? I don't really care. We're just gonna go attack that.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
그렇지. 바로 그거다, 딸내.
열라 열받죠? 이러면 아무것도 못하죠.
중량 5배.
우와, 지금 완전
심장을 노려.
같았어.
다섯.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지워 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 것.
아비 교환.
혹시 아냐? 나도 앵두 너처럼 세금 하나 생기면
필요하십니까?
Okay.
그럼 사드려야죠. 값을 받고 빚이라도 내서 제일 좋은 검으로 하나
They're
제공해
dead
드리겠습니다.
anyway, so
앵두야. 네가 하면 농이 아니라 진담 같으니.
usually I would choose that, but nah.
검은 지금 것으로 충분하다.
재밌겠는데?
더하면
너 대준다. 그렇지. 자, 바로 그거다 딸내.
7. 앞으로 2.
숨막히도록 견뎌왔고 절박하게 갈망했으며 헤아릴 수 없이 저주했으니
오호라. 나가 시원시원한 게.
Dang.
현재미가 탁월하구나.
우도
Everyone needs to like. Okay, well,
어디서 가져오신 겁니까?
we're not using disposable.
이거 말이냐?
I mean disposal.
여기 있는 귀물들의 가격이
We're saving
얼마인
that
줄
for
알고
something else.
부스러기를
You can't. You have no choice but to use that.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
엄마가 검을 들고 나갈 때마다
What's
내가
up?
정말 두려웠던 건
Tung tung.
엄마가 돌아오지 않는 거였어.
Oh heck nah.
너희는 어떠려나? 무사히 돌아올까? 아니면 엄마처럼
Yeah, of course we're killing you off now.
거긴 킬존이다. 그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸렘.
사냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄게. 으로 가서. 그렇지. 좀 치는데.
이 순간이 닿아도록 베어내리라. 몰아치는 것을
그래,
저주는 원망.
그게 정석이지.
이리리. 빠! 하! 야! 대응 완료.
아홉째. 와시리니엘.
해금하겠네.
내
Oh, he ready. Like he ready.
내려라 모조리들 이라는 뜻이다. 응? 왜 그딴 표정으로 쳐다보는 거지? 설마
No, I won't
내가
question it.
그 로식나 이희돈 홍처럼 온순해졌을 거라 기대했나?
그대는 어디까지 각오했을지.
대응 완료.
격정의 마음을 모방하겠소.
It's like it's over, dude. but decreasing the SP as much as we can.
자세에 없군. 이 순간이 닿아도록 되어내리라.
자,
쳐다보기엔 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
하나, 둘, 박살!
그렇지. 바로 그거다.
Dang,
딸내.
10? Nigga, I don't mind losing any of these House of Spider characters.
심장을 노려!
딸아이도 이 상처를 기억하고 있으면 좋겠고요.
동주 상구 같은 배를 탔으니 돕긴 도와야겠지. 물론 나 말고 앵두가.
모두도 도우셔야 합니다. 모제스 아씨가 눈 감아준다고 자꾸 그렇게 농땡이를 부리시면
Make it, might as well.
저는 눈물을 머금고 다른 두 분께 이 사실을 실토할 수밖에.
거긴 킬존이다.
Oh. Bah. Oh. Just a little more, and I think we might be able to smash that dang thing to smithereens, but... Yeah, but it's really hard to focus on one thing with that huge warrior zapping in and out of reality as soon as we make ourselves an opening. It'd make our lives a whole lot easier if we could get rid of just one of them. The battle seemed to be taking a toll on the sinners, more so than usual. It wasn't that we were up against an insurmountable foe, not even close, not to mention how Ezra and Nangdu were here to help us out. But... Shite! Haven't they had enough? About time they gave up, innit? Oi, don't you go legging it again. That big sword-carrying fella sure is kicking our butts, but I don't know if they're the key to solving this distortion. Marple. We ain't exactly a flush with options, are we? Our exit's blocked, and it ain't like we can stop mid-fight to strategize. Excuse me. With the battlefield constantly shifting and flashing between N Corp and S Corp, we simply do not have breathing room to focus on either the projector or Im Jong-yok, who is swinging with that great blade of threatening force. I don't know what's going on, bro. Meow, meow. Okay. Besides what? Undo, go cover his back too. It shall be done. And Corp was sending far too many people against us. There weren't that many at first, but it seemed that the sudden spike in employee casualties in an area so close to the nest had alerted N-Corp to our location. How do we get out of this? Frost, Otis, help me out here. I decided to stop racking my brain trying to navigate a situation I know so little about, and instead rely on the students who possibly more experience in the field. Yes, sir. First, I need to know if there's any way we can deal with the endless reinforcements N-Corp is sending after us. And second, will defeating Im Gyung or destroying that projector bring an end to this distortion phenomenon? Excuse me. If I may speak freely, Executive Manager, it is unlikely that our present force will be sufficient to overcome the current rate of enemy reinforcements. Not only is this battlefield situated in close proximity to the enemy's stronghold, but there is an unpredictable variable in that strange machine that makes neutralizing even a single wave of enemies difficult. I regret to be the bearer of bad news, but we are trapped in a battlefield with but a single exit, which the enemies have already blocked without reinforcements of our own. There is little hope of prevailing through this current predicament. Yeah, seems that way to me too. And maybe we can neutralize the distortion phenomenon at the very least. Foss recommends entering the Dungeon of the Phantoms as our exit. Dungeon of Phantoms? But how can I enter if we can't even talk to the distortion? Wait, maybe during the LCB regular checkup back at the LCE, he says that all you have to do is read what's on the note in front of his distortion. Apparently, it's some kind of a code. Sorry, I got weirdly. Right, keywords. Okay, I'm back. This one seems to be a location type distortion, which means that regardless of where the bright flashes take us, N-Corp or the twisted caricature of S-Corp, we're still within its range. In other words, as long as I have the right keywords, I can summon the entrance to its Dungeon of the Phantoms from anywhere within it. Okay, so what are the keywords for this distortion then? Hohenheim had provided us the necessary keywords for his distortion back then, but this time we had to figure it out on our own. First things first, one of them has to be photographed. It's obviously been present throughout the entire phenomenon. If I may, perhaps experience may be one of them. He's saying for his 2 cents in having briefly retreated from battle to the back lines. There's an undercurrent of obsession with experiences, staining his every trail. It must have art in relation to what has caused this distortion. Experience. The concept alone lacks substance. It must be something more grounded, something that is at once synonymous with experience, while maintaining a through line to N-Corp's technology that was the core of his obsession. Canned experience? Most likely, thinks Foss. Alright then, photograph, canned experience. Now seems to transpire as of yet. It didn't, but I could feel it. Are these the kind of photographs they use to make canned experience? So that's what that strange sensation was. Meshing that would check the distortion and cause that rippling effect. But was clearly not enough to force open the Dungeon of Phantoms. How many other keywords could be there be? What? Scraps. Sorry? Oh, I thought we were all taking turns sharing what might have caused him to distort. Going by the way you folks were saying your piece one after another, I thought this was to be some sort of a Zen riddle. Not a Zen riddle, no. But where'd scraps come from? See, when enjoying the benefits of slacking off at work, all kinds of mundanities come to possess far more interesting qualities, sometimes even revealing secrets invisible to eyes focused elsewhere. Take our person of interest, to wit, he has been poking around this area of town with an eye wateringly, there we go, expensive camera in tow, so conspicuously that every store owner I lightly prodded for information had tales to tell about him. Oh my goodness, each tale added another facet to the long saga of a once-driven man, a man with a can-do attitude with an uncanny ability to pull himself up by his own bootstraps, and a clear path toward Nest residence. who became so bewitched by photography that he eventually squandered his fortune on what was, in the end, nothing more than a pastime. And that went on until he found himself reduced to a pauper, barely making it on a scrap heap of an apartment. In pursuit of his ideality, the man has lost his grip of fortune and reality. I sought out his apartment and found a few scraps of his writing. When cold rain drips through the roof, when mold and tepid humidity together emerge from the earth, the mind begins to wander, lost. Eventually, madness is evoked in a form indistinguishable from drunkenness. The pauper loses himself. Shadow darker than any I had seen on Kim's faces. And Kim's face, what? Crept beneath the shade of his eyes. No, I had seen that look once in the past. Though it would be more accurate to say that I had heard it in his voice, that echoed in his phantoms, distorted by guilt and regret. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that his distortion has, among the countless people here, taken a peculiar interest in bamboo-headed him. Photograph, canned experience, and scraps. Like inserting a final piece of the puzzle, his face before us momentarily warped and flashed, opening a pathway to the distortion's phantoms. Well then, we'll be right behind you, Executive Manager. Miss Ezra, this is what I had seen then, the gateway to one's phantoms. Yeah, this is it, huh? Neat stuff. But before she could finish, Ezra had to redirect her focus from our discussion back to the battle. Most of the senators were caught in the same predicament. Some managed to disengage from the battle and prepare to enter the Dungeon of Phantoms, but Hung, Lu, Gregor, and several others were so busy holding off the N-Corp employees. They're gonna follow us right in there if we run now, right? Haha, probably. Even those who aren't chained to Dante like we are can travel through the pathway once it's open, so... yeah, let's not drive ourselves into an even narrower corner. I'll keep them at bay. Hitting that bamboo-handed Kim stepped up. My sword arm's not what it once was, but it should be enough for this. Besides, I have little wish to set foot in some ill-omened place and be tangled in such a bizarre mess. Is that really what he thinks? There was something in his eyes that led me to believe this was about more than just staying behind to protect our rear. He was... WTF. Eh? What a terrible front. At least try to pretend to be sincere and make it easy for us to believe you. Did you think that terrible excuse was going to fly by, Whoa, I was gonna say fly by, but there's no by. So that's like very confusing to me at times. What are you trying to avoid, Swordswinger? You're not some kid trying to get out of doing his homework. I remember hearing that entering a dungeon of phantoms, or being one to the spiritual phantoms that the distortion is gazing into. Then what lies within must be my very own, for that is what the abomination is gazing into. It's decided then. You're coming with us. We ain't about to walk in blind to a place we know shite about, mate. Guide was in there, yeah? Oh, that's... He keeps it simple. You try that too. Learn the hard way that homework like summer reading doesn't go away just because you don't look at it. It's still there, even as the summer break comes to an end, ruining the last day of your vacation into an all-nighter. Oh my god, I forgot how to say this. Araya Shiki's, never mind. Scabbard vibrated cheerfully in agreement. Stop procrastinating. Go do your summer reading. Oof. What was it you said? Face the homework? Save the GPA? Did we really just get a freaking... Okay, bro. Face the sin. Save the E. Go. It is, after all, the attitude the company expects of its employees. Go, Junior. You guys too, LCB. I can handle them all on my own. You will make a lone stand? Hey, who the heck do you think I am? Heh, I'll show you why the team leader Moses felt safe for sending me out alone with you guys. This was basically a monster of the week situation for team leader and me back in our duo days. I can handle him on my own, no problemo. I wanted to see how you guys handled the inflection point. I guess you can never really have it all. Ah well, guess I'll just have to trust our two OSIR team newbies to handle that. After I think about it, I think I'm setting a pretty solid example as your team senior, aren't I? I don't like this, but it seems I have no choice in the matter as long as this employee card hangs from my chest. With a sigh, Kim shook his head and joined us, dragging his feet all the while. I shall take the vanguard. Ah, Mentor, be warned that the entrance is floating. Take a tall step over or you may trip. I can clearly see that, Ungdu. Bring me a ladder if you're really that worried. Why don't you? Have you need of one? A mere jest. You need worry.
그래,
Uh,
이 정도면 지켜볼 가치가
you
있겠지.
couldn't have just put that before? Well, no what? Never mind. Okay. Oh. Why? What?
이번에
I'm not
읽어줄
gonna
것
question
같으니
it, bruh.
이것으로.
If that's how everyone's been living in my life, my photographs too. So this is S-Corp too, right? It is reminiscent of my homeland, but the sights are much too hideous compared to what rests in my memories. Hideous was apt when we emerged from the entrance of the dungeon into S-Corp's streets. What greeted us was a distorted and eerie scenery I wouldn't be surprised to find in S-Corp theme haunted mansion. 'Tis a place hardly fit for human habitation, far more dilapidated, wow, than once expected. Thou sayest that people inhabit these lands for truth? Really? I think it has a cool vibe. Vibes my foot. I don't think I'll be able to get a wink of sleep in here. The lives of the downtrodden were beset by 1,000 woes and tenfold more struggles, and the streets they inhabit reflect that reality. Many times I had contemplated in consternation how the folk here had even the will to live on. The shadow that had begun to haunt Kim's face still lingered there as he looked around. The distortion reveals the phantoms of those it gazes into, as Kim said. Perhaps this is how S-Corp is reflected in Kim's eyes. On the days when the skies were spotless blue and without orders from the counselor, I would scale to the roof of that thatched roofed house, and feel it rustle beneath my back as I lay upon it. I don't know what I'm doing, bro. It's just how I am. I thought it to be a spite solely mine, yet in this mirrored world, another has walked here before my arrival. I join him in looking up at the thatched roof of the chaga. Beneath it, a wicked tunnel have I passed, and now I witness myself before the one who shall strike the head from my torso. There was a figure standing tall next to the building, staring defiantly up toward the man on the straw roof. Im Gyung-yok. Are you home? Are you home, I asked. What a strange visitor I have. Why not call at the front gate if you come seeking the master of the house? Be not like a dog barking up the wrong tree. It's unbecoming. A dog? Really now? I can see you up there, lounging on the roof. I'm not going to speak to the door like I'm blind. It's a spell of some sort befallen the day. To have such an odd occurrence transpired twice successive. The work of a bewitching spirit, I say. What's so bewitching about checking in on someone? Isn't it odd that a high and noble military commissioner of our esteemed corporation would come in person to simply check in on how a lowly mercenary fares? You know me? She certainly knows her jest. She marches forth, vested in war strider armor, yet expects no violence. She wields a two-handed great blade like a demonic yaksha, yet harbors no hostile intent. Why, who else might she be but Military Commissioner Yang Yok, the principal of the famed M family? God dang. You are certainly in the habit of speaking in hyperbole. I am not so noble that I deserve to be complimented with an epithet so grand as the principal. Not a compliment. You see, Commissioner, this is a rhetorical technique known as backhanded compliment, in which I damn you with praise, for you are so bound by your precious principles that you would rather be unreasonable than betray them. As an officer ranked second ordinate, have no wit to engage in such banter. Why am I out of line, as they say? You two are friends, right? What? This was our first meeting, so no, not at that precise moment. I know, I'm just saying that if I were her, I wouldn't ever let myself become friends with you after such a bad first impression. Can't imagine becoming friends with someone who keeps pushing my buttons. Maybe, but people do find friendship in such personalities that they have a taste for prickliness. You got a friend in us, don't you? Fine, you have a point. I guess I do have a habit of pushing people's buttons, too. But still, I hope you're not seriously comparing the way I talk to his sassy, gotcha-digging, pun-riddled... Well, the world we live in is a vast and diverse one. Consider yourself lucky that you're surrounded by so many quirky characters. Because of that same luck that she took the joke well rather than respond by trying to cut off my head. You are out of line, yes, but I knew you would be, so I won't take issue with it. Though I must admit, the rumors of your sharp tongue do you no justice. The streets speak of a man they call Tim Lib, Bamboo Rain Hat. Bamboo Rain Hat? A man who once had intended to pursue the path of the brush, only to realize the sins of his forefathers and exile himself to the back streets. Yet with sheer power of will, gritted teeth, and scarred heart, they defined the path of swords another way to the nest. That's the right state councilor's one guard at that. That's you, isn't it? All those superlatives. What? Yet the reality is that I really found the path of a man butchery as a viable way of life. Direct any compliments you have toward the right state councilor, if you will. I am but a butchering blade that happened to fall into the right hands. Not a compliment, just the word on the street. You're a quick learner. And spare me the fancy reading of my name. Why do you pretend that pompous posturing comes naturally is painful enough already? Keep it simple and spell it out as Bamboo-Headed Kim, thank you. And does he continue to veer away from the line? I'd rather be a corpse cold and dead than stay in line. Have a shred of mercy on you, almighty one. On me? What? How did I say you? Whatever. If I come all the way here just to punish you for every little misdeed and ill manners, I would have laid you out and split you in two. 3 days before this venting dialogue brought us this far. So, feel safe to continue, traipsing outside the line. When we return, would you answer a few of my questions? I've been watching you from a distance for a while now, and really, talking to someone is not very principled of you. You sure she didn't give you a good wallop after that? No, truly a mystery, isn't it? Besides, she did give me free rein to continue, traipsing outside the line. I couldn't in good conscience turn down such offers of kindness, not that I ever do. You should have a way with words, a way of finding out your way under the listener's skin, huh? Perhaps you are such japes? Or is it whatever, japes. Not to be expected among fellowships of close mutual bond. They don't look like friends yet, though. So can't you tell us why she's been watching you? I was engaged in the age-old pastime of throwing rocks. Oh, speak of the game Songjeon. Save them for the festivities of Dano. I was throwing rocks at the passerbys. Fee on D. That is a wrong deed, good sir. I suppose it is. People of Pepeo? Hold on. Pepeo? How do you say this? And Saul, in particular, found it to be distasteful, and they did not let their discontent be hidden. Wow, what was that? But I want to say pig, but it also could be pie. It is two different things somehow. And the downtrodden cheered me on to a degree. They found it cathartic. That's how you say that, right? Oh, curious. Then is it a right deed or a deed not right? The pale whatever is it that Dowd describing? It is a well-known truth that S-Corp is also known by its other name. What? Sao Pepio Agroindustries. A wing specializing in the general agriculture and livestock industry of the city. The vastness and the depth of its responsibilities have necessitated such divisions of labor. Thus, District 19 is split into 3 court circles responsible for different aspects of the industry, Sao, P, and Pepeo, each meaning flesh, blood, and bone, respectively. Okay. Sao responsible for the cultivation of rice and other grains, Pepeo responsible for meat and livestock, and I'm gonna say pie or whatever, I don't know. No, wait, no, I said, but when you say Pepeo, okay, so I'm gonna say P. And P in charge of the technological aspects of both. As a scientist and researcher who once toiled at S-Corp, he must have felt the persecution the P faced firsthand. It is believed that the Trinity was designed for balance, that they would provide assistance when they requested and keep one another in check when needed. It was once a promise of cultivating a fair and sustainable S-Corp. Alas, the noble intentions of yesteryear now lie sullied, the Trinity now degraded of 3 quarreling bands of profiteers, blinded by avarice, relying not on honor, but betrayal and perfidy to claim the top of the triangle. An adherent of the flesh claims the position of the chief state councilor and monopolizes rice as the common folk starve. An adherent of the bone, whilst the right state councilor, Toadies? How do you say this? To sell and rises to the seat of the left state councilor. When such shameless conspiracy permits not the common folk to even till the land as they please, anguished cries of suffering flood the streets. Thus the common folk are reduced to livestock bleeding out, hanging from a hook while bone and flesh collude like that of the uh emaciated or dead. Who shall claim the severance of flesh and bone and force them both to yield? An oft-heard poem when walking the streets of Escort. Ho! Oh-ho! Then the people whom thou had targeted with thy rocks were... They weren't people. Rats. Rats? Oh yes, the counselor finds rats detestable. Much better to stop them from a distance if you want to crush them. By any chance, do these rats have a habit of sneaking into the royal court to better pilfer what the common folk rightfully deserve? They certainly suffer from a severe case of kleptomania. So you purposefully threw a rock at his feet to trip him into the ground, knowing that he has a kleptocrat? Also, I think I said the friggin' word right, but in my head I didn't feel like I said it right. But whatever. Well, I simply could not help but react as such in the presence of scurrying rats. Is there aught you find funny? Speak if you do. I could use a good laugh about now. Just heartily expressing my gratitude, that is all. Those whose corruption is revealed ought to be readily received as scarlet bonds. The gall to scamper away with their expensive prosthetics, my men were having some trouble apprehending them, until now. Well, if that is your intent, you are invited to leave a token of gratitude somewhere in the vicinity. Perhaps I'll happen to pick it up. But I want to get thrown in the dungeons teeming with real vermin. Oh, I was going to do just that. So, when you'll stop being a sword and be human again? What? When do you clock out? The way I see it, you're not the kind of person who will ever let a drop of liquor get to his tongue while on duty for the right state counselor. Return to this chaga when you're human again. I'll buy you a drink as thanks. I'm not even gonna say anything. Ha! She's a funny one, hmm? Mentor, then this fellow you had often mentioned fondly was... Correct. I haven't mentioned her a few times as a drinking fellow I had left behind in Escort. Wait, no, haven't I mentioned her a few times as a drinking fellow I had left in Escort? Sorry, I said that so freaking wrong, dude. Okay. I must say, I myself found that relationship most intriguing. A military commissioner of the South faction would fraternize with a bodyguard of the right state counselor, who was of the Pay faction. Excuse me. Still, I knew not that the fellow was none other than the military commissioner of Escort. Angdu's eyes had gone wide in shock, her voice rising unconsciously. It is news to me that you have had ties to a second ordinate official, a military officer with command over high-ranking employees of the wing at that. Well, I was in the service of the right state counselor, who's a first ordinate, you know. Well, that might be true, yet you would like to know why I, with such a powerful friend by my side, have ended up in exile from Escort? I mean, I would wonder too. Yes, your silence over matters of such great import is why I have come to introduce you to others as a reticent of one mentor. We had made the Blade lineage our home for Escort, a world no home for us but the lineage, but you, mentor. Whoa, am I having hiccups right now? I hope not. I would rather show than tell. Let's proceed, shall we? This enchanted place seems intent on unearthing all of my past, both savory and unsavory. All shall be revealed in due time. Yeah, I had been talking for a while. Kim looked around, a twinge of loneliness in his eyes before moving on. We followed around the wood. Oh my god, finally. I know how a dungeon works. We emerged into a dark and muggy cavern, filled with air so stale I almost felt stifling. Up ahead, a thin ray of light shone out toward the darkness, seemingly guiding our path. Following the light led us to a four-way fork in the road. Oh, whoops! A constant powerful gust howled through one of the paths. Another was filled with a metallic tang, the smell of blood. Then there was a path that was entirely silent. The last one echoed with harsh noise and short-circuiting swords. Which path should we choose? Fake it. So how many people are fighting up there? You must proceed with caution, executive manager. There may be battle underway. Since the sailors all looked disconcerted at the strident noise of metal against metal, it was an unmistakable sound of battle. We stood ready in troubled silence as the sounds of war only grew louder and louder until they came to a sudden silent stop. A pestle made of stacked stones appeared before us. None of us knew how long it had been there. Atop it was a red accessory, the kind one would hang at the bottom of the hilt. Oh! Well, ain't that interesting? But I could just go straight and I'll be fine. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
볼 것도 없이 처형이군.
조심하는 것이 좋지 않겠는가? 모제스 아씨께서도 누누이 말했지. 갑작스레 달라진 행동에 주의하라고.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Nah, that was some bad luck, bruh.
심장을 노려.
Holy. You're going crazy, Kim.
무아몽정.
선물을 받았구나.
Excuse me.
자신의 색이 너무 옅어지지 않도록 조심하렴.
Oh, now you whatever.
필연적. 절대적.
Well, at least lasting the amount of time since an attack.
그렇지.
이거 분강
바로
맞지?
그거다 딸렘.
필살. 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램. 더하면
너 대군데.
심장을 노려.
아비규환.
거긴 킬존이다.
쳐다보긴 너무 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중
Bye.
제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
Bye.
심장을
이 순간이 닿아도록 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지워
숨이 닿도록 베어냈군.
그새 능숙히 다루게 되었구나.
반듯한 일격이었어. 실로 군더더기였군. 모두께서도 저런 위험해
녀석들.
보이시며 배워야 할 것을 뵐 때가 있었지요.
과거는 과거일 뿐이지. 본국 제일검조.
네.
바로 그거다.
이러면 아무것도 못하죠.
결정. 해금.
Also, did she fail one?
지령에게 불확실한
Yeah, she did. She has freaking 30 now. Oh my god.
질릴 때도 있지만 역시
What
늘 먹던 맛에서만 느껴지는 도파민이
Oh, there's not
있다니까.
that many of them left.
재밌겠는데?
Oh, dang. Jesus. This man went crazy.
눈을 감을 만한 가치가 있는 예술이고.
귀아들이라면 능히 이길 것이라 믿... 우두? 벌써 어딜 가십니까?
걔가 할 필요도 없어 보이니
I
방해가 있어
clicked-
세상
okay,
돌아가는
whatever.
모습이나 보려 한다.
테레비나 보시겠다는 말 아닙니까?
Excuse me. As we were slowly looking around the street of Escorp, a youth, after fidgeting and hesitating for a moment, walked up to us and asked for help. The youth explained that, wishing to better his own status, he took the railway examination akin to a public employment policy in Escort, and was able to attain a high grade for himself. And that was where his problems began. As far as he knew, people who passed the exam with flying colors like himself had their travel expenses paid for the home world trip and were to be granted a guide. But there must have been a misunderstanding or something, because when he left the exam grounds, no one was there to escort him. God dang it! Confused by unexpected turn of events, he wandered away from the exam grounds in search of his escort, lost his bearings, and found himself in the alleys. Yet he's asking if we could help him with directions. What should we do? It's only fair. Don Quixote opened their mouth to begin, stopped, then turned around to where Babu had Kim and Nangdu were. I am not so well versed in the geography of this area. Perhaps Mentor would know better. Come on. Kim lay on audibly concerted sigh, then walked up to the youth to give him directions. And take off that rose celebrity flower crown. You don't want people to know you passed the exam. But why would? It's for good reason. Just do it as I say, and you'll thank me one day. You stared back at him in puzzlement, before seemingly deciding that giving proper gratitude for Kim's assistance took precedence. He handed us what appeared to be a small, whatever that said, vessel. Might just be a water dropper for a brush calligraphy. Though you may have no practical need of this, for I see none of you are much acquainted with the art of grinding ink against inkstone, and part this gift to you in hopes that this dropper may form a small flow in your rivers of life. Ha! Though it would have made for a rather moving moment had it not been for the exaggerated scoff Kim gave. The youth hurried on his path before minding the sudden discourtesy. Angdu later asked him what had spurred his sudden outburst, but he did not give her a reply, instead choosing silence behind pursed lips.
보았는가? 지령은 절대적이라네.
Oh, nice.
이번에도 지령의
What?
뜻은
I
본인과
clicked
같군.
that so fast I didn't even register. Excuse me.
격리실에서 나왔구나.
Dominating. They're all dominating now, boy.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
그쯤 해줬으니 포장지 한번 벗겨야겠군.
우리는 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸래.
심장!
역할대로
심장을 노려! 너무
I'm sorry,
얕잡아 보인 거
did
아니야?
you lose?
재밌겠는데?
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모들 같았어. 그대.
쳐다보기. 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 딸램.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락
예측할 수
안에서도
없게.
내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
Wow, that sucks.
미친 크리티컬?
쳐다보기.
대박! 미쳤는데? 아이씨, 한 번쯤은 줘도 되잖아. 이럴 때 딱 씹어줘야 하는데. 사냥 끝.
모조리
해체해줄
그새
게.
능숙히
심장.
다루게 되었구나.
심장을 노려. 자,
해체 끝.
이제
이제 같은 수는
수에선
안 통할 거다.
벗어났나?
차. 결정. 해금. 초월. 지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네. 간당간당 붙였네.
Struggling is.
여기서 반전
Should we?
쓸려버리는 노잼
I mean, I
보여주는 건
could.
아니지? 빨리 끝나면 오늘 할 거
Nah, I won't do it.
TV
Not
돌려줄 거야?
yet.
아니면 잘 좀 해봐.
Nah, I'm doing it. Let's see who gets murdered, y'all.
재밌겠는데? 낮도 밤도 지우. 숨이 닿도록 베어냈군. 너희에게 꽃을 달아준다면 피아노가 어울리겠어.
Unless that was unnecessary for some reason.
가장 새빨간 지옥색의 피아노.
심장을 노려. 자. 운명적인 죽음일세.
Oh, she's killing Heathcliff.
아직 완성되지 못한 탓에
재밌었다. 자, 오늘
Straight up
한번
murdered
끝났지?
Heathcliff out of all
그럼
people.
약속대로 이 만화책이랑 가져간다.
Is that trying to call you Heathcliff? Interesting choice. Could kill Ishmael or Otis, but she said, nah, I'm going for Heathcliff. Oh, whoops. I catch a glimpse of her figure, staring off into the darkness of the unlit prison. Bamboo-handed Kim lets out a sigh, but before he even fully exhales, who goes there? A sharp cry cuts through the stagnant air. Someone here must have noticed us. What should we do? You're not the prison guards. And we recalled us stood there for a moment, nonchalantly trying to gauge us even as we stood with our weapons drawn. And she walked toward us in a gait that could not be called aggressive. Instead of chatting with us, she called upon the figure standing inside the prison. Would you care to explain who are they, and what happened? The one-sided exchange continued for a while, and she tried various lines of questioning to chat up with the figure inside the cell, but it was to no avail. Might as well be talking to a corpse long dead. She allowed exasperated to decide before turning to us. Are you not here to visit him as well? Might you be those who share his purpose? I don't know, you're not? Then might I consider you not but spies who have infiltrated the prison of the royal court? We took to our heels as the one without giving us even a second to explain, so charged us with a weapon drawn. Nothing happened. Well, Heathcliff is dead now.
아, 3일
I'm surprised that was her choice. No, it can't be. My life is the experiences, the memories I had recorded are different. Alas! Kim came to a stop with a grim look on his face. Again, I am returned to this day. His voice had dropped to the same Mara's pitch we had heard before. Mentor, you have been here before. Ah, have you? Had a peek into my memories when I had distorted, did you? Haha, I must say, it's a bit embarrassing to have my deepest and darkest secrets revealed like that. Kim grinned sheepishly as though to clear the air, but it was becoming rather clear to me that what he was doing. That his flippant demeanor and seemingly devil-may-cry attitude were but a mask to hide the true darkness in his heart. Then this must be, indeed, the X8 Counselor's estate. Someone whom I had once protected, thought was worth protecting. Kim pushed open the main gate and made his way into the front yard. Watch out, Angdu. Take a tall step over, or you might trip. Ah! There were bodies splayed about the yard, and I couldn't dare start counting them. I felt faint watching the aftermath of the carnage. Some were decapitated, some had the torso split diagonally, some of them were so mangled that I could hardly even tell which parts belonged to who. God dang, bro. Are they not oh my god! Are they not retainers of the royal court? What were they doing at the councilors? No. Were they killed by assassins? Assassins did infiltrate the estate, yes. You're looking at what remains of them. Though I had but a memory to glimpse it, I clearly remember what the S-Corp logo I saw in Kim's patterns looked like. Perhaps these corpses were wearing or adorned with the same logo. So why had bamboo-headed Kim calling them assassins? In this corrupt land, the X8 Counselor's life was always as precarious as a candlelight in the tempest. Such is the fate of all of those who have the guts to speak the truth in this court, where positions of influence are hoarded by corrupt sycophants whose chokehold on powers is ironclad. The most prominent among them, the left state counselor, with the chief state's counselor's blessing, sought to wield his own private army to silence forever the tongues of those who would advocate against the corrupt. Private army? But they are prohibited in our homeland. So they're kinda like how the great houses of H-Corp each had their own armies. This is similar to what is happening, but not exactly. If S-Corp's circumstances were to be explained in plainer terms, it would be akin to a situation in which a company whose employees outwardly appear to be all working for the same side is in fact fractured within, with certain departments pledging allegiance to a different individual than their chief executive. What assassins there had been, in the past, at least, wore masks to hide their allegiance. I had thought this no different, though with assassins significantly less invested in maintaining their disguises. Not realizing that I had just placed my stone inside the tiger's maw. Yeah! Looking around at the yard, teeming with their assassins, I recall thinking just how many of them had sent. What? Though the left state counselor's power had grown to loom over that of the king, I should have realized how ridiculous such a brazen attempt on the life of one of the triumvirate or whatever counselors at the royal court would have been foolish. I can't. I have failed you, counselor. There are certainly too many of them, as though they had decided that tonight was the night they would finally slay the counselor, or die trying. I was soon overwhelmed, and some of them eventually managed to get around me and reach the counselor's bedchamber. The moment I heard them reach the door, all the strength left me, and I fell to my knees. I, Kim lived, with a poor excuse of a bodyguard, and I have failed you. And I knew who the author of the foul scheme was, the left state counselor. Let this be my final act of loyalty ere I depart this life. Oh, it's an ear. Whatever. Though I am too meager a person to carry on your will, counselor, what I can do is plant the seeds of terror in the hearts of the unjust, if only to shackle their blackest hearts from committing greater misdeeds. I shall go before the villain who contrived this betrayal, and see that the favor is repaid with steel. Only by such vengeance Shall the counselor at last close his eyes in his grave? Or so I had thought. What? Greetings, honored bodyguard of the Red Counselor. I see that you've been hard at work. Accursed parasite! I ought to flay you alive and reveal the wretched soul underneath. Some gal you have to show your face here. Oh, here? You mean the home of the Honorable Right State Counselor who toils day and night in the service of the railroad court? I know the assassins were sent by the left state counselor. Get out of my way. I shall collect your head once my task here is over. Alas, alas, this unsightly display of anger shames us all. All those who live by the sword as uncouth as you. The cruelty of your damning words is an oppression upon decent men like myself. Let's see how long you can. Heed me, soldiers. Arrest that mad butcher. What? The accused shall heed his crimes. 1 moon ago, an anonymous letter threatening to take the life of the revered right state counselor arrived at the royal court. This audacious, contumelious effrontery is an affront not only to the royal court, but to the heavens and men alike. Are they accusing him? The revered left state counselor, who has long been in disagreement with the right state counselor on matters of the state, found this offense to be so heinous that he has personally commanded his men to protect his political enemy on the day writ on the letter. Huh? Yet, a tragedy has struck. All those lives sent to protect the noble counselor are slain, the bravery and justice of their honorable hearts trampled upon the ground by this villain. And now the villain promises death to yet another pillar of the royal court? Thus, we are perforce to arrest the criminal and restore the rule of law. You spout senseless drivel! I saw your men make their way into the counselor's bedchamber with their blades drawn. The counselor? Might you be looking for the right state counselor here, alive and well? My lord? The vile wretch leaned down next to my ear and whispered, perhaps you should have known where not to stick your nose. Do you really think you could overcome the entire pirate army that in the left state counselor's service? He sent so many of his men to their deaths, just to lure me to a trap? Why? Now don't take this as a compliment, as you're not even the apex blade of the homeland, nor are you the Ungyeong Cloudblade, but you have been a rather egregious obstacle to the execution of my plans. Couldn't get through with the first thing in my plan. But you constantly get in my way. Let's keep you nicely locked up and out of trouble. This can't be! For what it's worth, young man, I am sorry. I've come to realize the error of my ways. The truth is, though Escorp is indeed a pond of turbid water, it was those like us who had stirred the dirt from its bed and turned it cloudy. Fearing the worst, we ride to protect the revered right state counselor. A thousand curses upon the villain. In his quest for the right state counselor's life, the butcher's man has already watered the ground with Escort's laborers. The very lifeblood that runs in the veins of the most serene wing. And that charcoal-hearted villain is none other than the counselor's sworn guard, Tim Lim. Han, heed us, O villain. Han Ho Bell! Oh my god. And I let the overall bars take you. You fallen forward, my friend. You were once considered a candidate to the honor of Ongyeong. With that brand of a Nobi, sapping your strength. Even your mastery with the blade will only dull. Are you to be my executioner, Gyeongyuk? I haven't received orders to behead you, if that is what you're asking. Nor would it befit someone of my station, just only my hands were executioner's duty. How will you live on now? I don't know. The counselor has abandoned me. There's no path forward. This is... So, Pepio Agro Industries is more corrupt than I had thought. After to the core. Excuse me. This is where the game ends. Dude, Time to resign my stone. Indeed it is. Why are you fearing me? Once a game has been lost, you start anew and test other games in the next round. Why do you stop playing this unfair game where the opponent always starts with stones placed on all 9 star points on the board, and find a place where you can begin anew in equal standing? As soon as they realize it was you who freed me, they'll come after you. It's okay. Unlike someone who made a fool of himself and fled after passing the royal examinations, I had the royal courts backing as its military commissioner. The position in the courts is so fickle that they would pass me down right away just because I let go of someone like you. You're a bandit criminal in the eyes of the royal court. You're as good as inconsequential. I report that even if you were to flee, you would still be nothing more than a plaything in the palm of their hands, and they think you were the kind to go against your honorable principles. Some things can't be done without bending a rule or two, and you are needed. S-Corp's future is in need of those who are less bound by expectations, like yourself. Besides, it's not the rules I stand by, it's my own principles. I dare say I owe you a token of gratitude, didn't I? Consider this a settlement of that. I don't know what's going on. I can't. Whatever. Gratitude and vengeance, after all, share a common quality. They are both debts to be repaid. Young Yo. Come with me. There's no hope left for Escort. You said it yourself, didn't you? You never win as long as we're playing with the rigged game. Listen, you might have a 9-zone advantage over you, but to me, it's as small as 3. I manage and keep my finger on the pulse. Besides, change doesn't always have to come from the outside. The old wisdom says that to catch a tiger, you must enter its den. But wouldn't it help to have an ally waiting in the tiger's den to back you up when the time comes? There, all done. Your bonds are severed. Go now. Go and build your strength beyond the walls of Escorp. Yet beware of relying overmuch on foreign powers. I won't have it in me to take up such a grand purpose. I'm done with Escort. You know how I am. I just go with the flow. Yes, do as you will. Go with the flow and be whatever you want to be. But I'm just hoping that the currents of the river will someday bring you back to Escort. That's all. Though I had left to rig the game, my records afterward weren't stellar. The language of stones on my board was always full of holes and mistakes. I joined the Blade lineage, regained their mentor, dragged them into the library, until eventually, I cut down those who had placed their faith in me. Self-defeating move after self-defeating move. When Gong Yelp had let me go, I thought I had to skip the tiger's maw, but as I let the game progress with the flow, I soon came to realization that my life was an endless sequence of connect and dies. Not gonna lie, I might just get library reunion. I don't know how to say it. I'm not gonna get lobotomy corporation. I don't think it's necessary, but I might still get it anyway. I was in a losing play from the start. Shadows dancing by the distant humanoid form began to grow like wildfire, and those in the attire of the Blade lineage, one by one, leap over the wall and approach us, like the projections of Kim's darkening phantoms. They're from his memories. Films and photographs can sometimes remain undoctored, but the impressions the person gets from viewing the photograph is malleable. Then it must be after. Yeah, Kim believes that if the Blade lineage were to come back to life, they would want to kill him.
조심하는 것이 좋지 않겠는가?
그럼 그렇지.
모제스 아쉽게서도 누누이
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
갑작스레 달라진 행동에 주의하라고.
So first off, we already know who's dead. not really up to much. So
예측할 수 없게.
그쯤 해줬으니 포장 잠방 벗겨야겠군.
우리만 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
이제 갖고 놀기 틀렸다.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 베어낼수록
하나.
그대 흔들렸군. 정해진 운명이라네.
모두께서도 저런 미형을 보이시며 배워야 할 것을 배울 때가 있었지요.
holy crap, missile! I almost fell that.
뿐이지. 본국 제일검조차 아니었던 내게 자랑할 만한 우연이 뭐 있다.
바로 그거다 딸렘.
결정 해보로. 초월 지령에게 불확실한 것은 너희 너무 얕잡아 보인 거 아니야?
그려낸 대로 낮도 밤도 지워 숨이 닿도록
God dang.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어.
둘.
미래를 과거와 같이.
모, 분, 조, 토 역시 모가지를 분질러야
거기럼
조용해진
끝이다.
쳐다보기는 저 도야지 같은
지금처럼.
새끼.
엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며 많은 기억을 쌓아줘. 언젠가 그 중에서 가장 멋진 곳에 나를 데려갈 수 있게.
Okay, someone carrying a sword on his belt and a sack on his shoulder leaped into a haystack near us. A few moments later, a small crowd of Chiunokans, torches in hand, rushed in from the same direction the man had come from. We saw a criminal who has coveted the kingdom's properties flee in this direction. Speak up if you have seen the wretch. The Chiunokans began walking up to the civilians and questioning them about the criminal's whereabouts. Despite all having seen the man jump into the haystack, all of them shook their heads to refuse to give up the criminal. Are they hiding him for a reason? Soon the two Unokans, having made their way through the crowd, approached us as well. What should we do? Dang! Okay. So he went that way, huh? Appreciate the assistance. As the group of two Unokans hurried toward the direction I pointed them towards, the man crawled out of the haystack. Seeing that the two Unokans had gone, some of the civilians walked up to the man and gave their thanks. Good work, you. You had those vile two Unokans. Two Unokans take a noble thief like you away, a thief of the people. They're all wretches, I say. Wretches. So well fed, while we all starve. I bet they'll bleed with rice if we got them. He turned to gratitude with a polite bow, then approached us. You have my thanks. I now expect to be shielded by outsiders such as yourself. But this is a welcome surprise. Who am I, you ask? Well, I have no name to give you, but it seems that the common folk have taken to calling the like-minded Blade lineage, only seeing the stacks of ice the corrupt officials have stolen, and returning them to where they belong, just as Mentor Bamboo Handed Kim has once done. Ahem. Kim squeaked out a small embarrassed cough. I lingered here too long. They're already on my trail again. It's about time I saw myself off. We're in a hurry. He bade us to wait a moment as he rummaged through his stack and produced a few packets of food. Take these. It's not much, but it should be quite filling for those on the road like yourselves. Gratitude and vengeance, after all, share common quality. They are both debts to be repaid, eh? With that, he drew into the shadows.
해왔던 숙제들에 비하면
Yeah, and meanwhile, this guy is
별것도
still
아닌
dead.
일이다.
그럼 입장해 보지.
치사하게 자기 혼자 사기 버프 줄줄 감고.
아둔한 자식.
너흰 저런 거 없어?
못 버티고.
아? 없다고? 그럼 쩔 수 없긴 하지.
거긴 킬존이다.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 베어낼수록 우두께서도 저런 위험을 보이시며 배워야 할 것을 볼 때가 있었지.
바로 그거다 짤레.
과거는 과거일 뿐이지 본국 제일검조차 아니었던 내게 자랑할 만한 위험이 뭐 있다고.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그쯤 해줬으니 포장지 한번 벗겨야겠군.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고 흔들렸군. 정해진 운명이라네. 결정, 해도 좋아. 지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
재밌겠는데?
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 이제 수에선 벗어났나?
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그 슬픈 눈빛, 험조구려. 내내 유쾌하게
방금은 좀
그대
쩔었는데.
선택받았어.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 짤레.
아비규환.
일찍 끝나겠구나. 이런 걸 보면 단축의 예술.
예측할 수 없게.
끝을 알 수 없던 엄마가 선택한 최선의
귀아들이라면 능히
방법이었을지도
이길 것이라
모르겠어.
우두? 벌써 어딜 가십니까?
거미집에서의 생활도
개가할 필요도 없어
내가
보이니
겪어야 했을
방에 가서
기다림도
세상 돌아가는 모습이나
뭐.
보려 한다.
짧게 끊어내고 싶었을
테레비나
텐데.
보시겠다는 말 아닙니까?
My goodness.
사냥감인가? 몸이 끓어오르는.
Itchy ear, dude. Okay. Like a prey backed against the cliff's edge, I'm left bereft of paths. My hand hesitates with no room to place a stone. The judgments burgeon when contemplations harrow the mind indeed. Now, all that remains is to neutralize that one enemy combatant in the yard. Tell me, who's waiting for us in there? You should know, this place and its enemies are projections of your memories. Not the hardest guess to make, is it? Expected to find Im Jong-il in there. Jong-il was a woman of loyalty and principles. Even as a military commissioner, she never stopped wanting to change the way her court was. But even she must have broken in the end. I scored the newspapers and TV for anything I could find on the current state of Escort. It was plain as day that nothing had changed there since my departure. Mentor, is that not but a baseless speculation? Your concerns grown uncontrollably. Never have you spoken to us about such a monstrous one in the past. Thus, what lies before you is but a figment of the distortion reflecting upon your memories. Did this Im Jong-il appear as that monster does, Mentor? No. Jong-il wasn't like that. Jong-il? I still believe that Salpipio Agroindustries deserves to die. I don't know why I said before, but I feel like I said it wrong, but I'm not gonna bother correcting it. But destruction is not the point. The point is that I want it to be a place where I can cut away the avaricious, crafted, and have it be a wing that cares for its common folk. I didn't know better. If I didn't know better, I would have thought you were seeking to supplant the current escort. You know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just a wanderer, floating down the river's flow to where the currents take him. When the river bed and I hit a wall, someone picked me up and made a blade out of me. Once abandoned, I returned to the flow and found myself a mentor to those who afforded me the undeserved fate. And the river continues the wind, carrying me back to Escort, whence I had fled. Shall I let the blade sing my inner thoughts? You think I'm satisfied with the way Escort is? But your method as it is now goes against the principles. I expected better from you, someone of your wiles. If you enjoy those principles so much, then why ask me to leave the game? Because someone has to stay behind and try to bring change within the limits of their principles. I only hope that one of those beds in that river of yours would flow you back to knock on the gates of Escort once it was primed for change. Has that changed? What do you think? You at least seem to think that I have. Because you believe that I shall stand in your path. Stand in my path. And stem the flow of this river evermore. Very well. The law states that denial of the will of the royal court is a crime deserving of death by beheading. I, Im Jong-il, the second ordinate of the Sapipio Agroindustries, official of the sword, and military commissioner to the royal court, shall uphold the command. I fear the buds of rebellion before they propagate.
그럼 그렇지.
Here we go.
그걸 못 버티고.
Okay.
재밌겠는데? 이 순간이 닿아도 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지워 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 뿐.
Should I? And chances is
우리만 멋있는
they
건
could
알아.
choose a one I would still need. At the same time, they could also choose someone I don't need. So the question is, should I chase the risk of letting Ryoshu kill someone or not? Not yet. Not yet. Until either
사냥 끝.
so both Yisang and Rodian
실로
use both
군더더기였군.
their respective good moves.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 달래.
Unless I don't need to. Because this man does like 200 damage.
해금.
초월.
귀여들의
지영에게 불확실한
전투는 늘
것은 없네.
남부를 불러오지. 기대하겠네.
어디 기력 좀 볼까?
자신 있으면 받아봐.
쳐다보긴 우리만 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
무력 터졌네. 내 차례네.
셋째.
그렇지. 바로 그거다 달래.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
There's a lot of poise on it.
미래를 과거와 같이. 예전엔 그런 거 좀 치사하다고 생각했지. 근데 그
Hopeless, holy crap.
LCD였나? 특색도 있는 거기. 그 사람들은 있는 거 없는 거 끌어모아 쓰는데도 뭔가
Oh, this ain't doing any. Oh, well, we can take that away.
그려낸 대로. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
무력 터졌네. 내 차례네.
자!
그렇지. 바로 그거다 달래.
여섯째.
Oh, dang.
내 뭐. 내려라 머저리들 이라는 뜻이다. 응? 왜 그딴 표정으로 쳐다보는 거지? 설마 내가 그 로싱이나 이희돈홍처럼 온순해졌을 거라 기대했나?
자신 있으면 받아봐.
이 순간이 닿도록
되어내리라.
쳐다보긴 우리 엄마 멋있는 건 알아가지고.
그렇지. 바로 그거다, 딸렘.
여덟, 앞으로 하나.
숨막히도록 견뎌왔고 절박하게 갈망했으며 헤아릴 수 없이 저주했으니 제 행위 그렇게 얼마나 썼다고 벌써 상이다.
Oh my god, like.
예측할 수 없게.
Dang, dude, I saw that happen. Whoa, what's going on?
이 순간이 닿아도록 되어내리라. 몰아치는 것을
방금은 좀 쩔었는데.
장부를 펼칠 것도 없겠군. 갖고 놀기. 틀렸다.
엄마는
그쯤
무기라면
해줬으니
뭐든 잘 다뤘어.
포장지 한번 벗겨야겠군.
요즘 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고. 대행 완료.
Oh, it's over, dude.
이제야 좀
이거
이해.
공감 맞지?
Oh, lag.
실세. 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램. 원망하고 말고 빌어먹을 패밀리도 너네들도.
Holy crap. Holy. She almost killed him.
슬슬 능숙히 다루게 되었구나.
쟤 뒤진 게 아니라.
That was like, why was there a black screen?
누가 좀 치워야 하는 거야?
Yeah, it's over.
감상은
카메라
어떤가요?
앞에서
이
걸리적거린다고.
순간이 닿아도록 되어내리라.
She's not as powerful as I recall, yet way down by the band. I'm not so far ahead or behind. I don't know, I think they're doing pretty well. Verily, they appear evenly matched, yet He's wielding that sword like he's trying to get himself killed. That blade work is far beneath him. Seeking the end here, is he? Can you afford to look away in a duel? What are you doing? You gotta lock your sword with mine, then parry it away? Can't have a proper sword fight without a blade locked over, huh? The duel between the mentor of a syndicate and the military commissioner of an S-Corp is neck to neck, clash after clash. The two warriors eventually lock their blades in a contest of might before it comes to a close and a final fatal bout. When the dust settles, the mentor lies in the sand, dead. If that is what you want, I will grant it. Good. Let's finish this. Just as Bamboo handed Kim and M Gyung-yup ready for their final bout, Ungdu leaped in between them. Ah! Ungdu! Are you really so ashamed that you would choose death over life, mentor? Are you so scared to live that you would rather die? Yes, I am. I am scared. I am terrified of my own audacity to live my days as though I had failed everything and everyone who had the misfortune of placing their faith in me. My mission, my honor, my fellows. As though my path isn't haunted by ghosts. As though I can stand shamelessly before the watching eyes of the heavens. What have I even done with the life that was given to me? Blind to the realities of my homeland, I serve the master who chose politics over loyalty and justice. I cut down my very fellows who choose to trust a fool like me. I walked my entire life as the flow carried me, and when I finally had the mind to look back, all I saw were blood-red traces everywhere I have gone. Isn't it about time I admitted that this game cannot be won? That mentor, the weakness in your strength has failed your mission. The weakness in your position has failed your honor, and the weakness in your heart has become the fiendish blade that cut down your fellows. Fiendish? Fiendish? What did I? Oh, whatever. Ungdu, I thought you were here to talk me into keep on living, yet your words pain me so. What weakness of yours is it this time? And you will cast away your own creed in life. What other weakness will you use as an excuse today? Stop trying to bear responsibility as not of you. The blade lineage was never about responsibility, nor was it about you, mentor. It does your overbearing guilt help you overestimate your importance. What was that saying again? Fellow travelers in the same boat will aid one another. Not a single soul demanded that of you. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. And I haven't had enough of that flippant larking of yours. We all have. Do you truly believe that not a single one of us had picked up on the fact that all your levity was a means of revealing yourself of the burden you had cast upon your own shoulders? None of us ever demanded some impossible feat from you. What was it that you've always had to describe yourself? That you are but a measuring blade that wields not itself, a tool wielded by willing hands. Why, mentor? I know not that what kind of shame or responsibilities a mere tool has, do you? Because I fail to see any. And the shame does not subside still. Then shroud your face in that bamboo hat of yours and live on. Live on so that you may repay your debts. Out of blades, out of arrows. When the heart that sought death lies defeated at your feet, there's no stone left for my next gambit. There is nothing more. Indeed, perhaps there was some merit in your words. I must retreat from the silly game of stones and become a fiend of blades. Mentor? That is not what I said. Interesting. Why did you hear that poem? Yes, when inverted, a bamboo hat is like an unladen ship. Ungdu and M Kyung-go were knocked away from bamboo hat to Kim, as though bounced off by an invisible force. Kim raises his gaze to meet the empty air as though someone were there, a hollow laughter escaping his lips. You know who he's talking to. It's the voice. But your last move was not a good one. Indeed, I did wish for to become a blade. And what did you do? Force me into an indiscriminate one that cleaves blindly into friend and foe both? It seems that in your excitement, you have cornered yourself with that last move. Well, as it seems that I have had an opportunity to retrace our past moves, allow me to try something different this time. Ah, we not so vexed by this round. As you say, we never know what the next game shall bring. I appreciate and will treasure the other bits of your advice. But Let us play by my rules for tonight's game. Something is different this time, innit? He ain't distorting. I think that's an elephant, perhaps. Nothing is for certain, indeed. Yet I trust that the words of my last remaining follower have also reached your ears, I am but a tool wielded by willing hands. Nothing in my life has ever been certain. I know not whether this move is what cements my defeat, but desire it to be a victorious star nonetheless. Thank you. I'll take what encouragement I can. The strange invisible pressure dissipates, and the armored woman, in young oak, adjusts her grip on the sword. Tim turned around to look at her, and I saw that a weighty shadow seemed to have been lifted from his face, replaced by a mix of relief and determination. A bit embarrassing to change my stance now, but now I fight to live. I suppose you'll be okay with that. Of course. Oh! To hide from heaven's gaze with this hat I wore. Empty boat. I brought my friends long ago. My friends along. I'm gonna freaking... whatever. And bamboo veiled. We drift from shore to shore. With wine, I donned my hat to watch blooms throng. And mirth, I doffed that shroud to moon the door. So with this bamboo hat to veil my brow, though winds and rain may rage, I shall not throw. He to me, bamboo-headed one, speak your name, for I found your outfit dubious of character. I am he who has mentored the lineage of blades to its premature end. I am he who has sought to bring salvation to the downtrodden, to no avail. What to call a man who has failed to disburden himself of the world? How to name a man who has failed to bear the weight of the world? There is none. So call me Bamboo-Headed Kim. Bamboo-Headed Kim, the treasonous wretch.
귀하들이라면 능히 이길 것이라 우두? 벌써 어딜 가십니까?
개가 할 필요도 없어 보이니.
The photographs rapidly fall away from reality. Perhaps because Kim has successfully managed to face his own past. When the photographs and memories that were overlaid upon the phantoms are pulled away, what remains is a man in dirty, ragged clothing. The phantoms of escort slowly lose grip on this world, and soon reveals the phantoms of the distortion that was hidden beneath it. I see residents of the back streets and the blissful highs of taking the canned experience. Just, and a man who's watching them with disapproval. Why is everyone running away from all this? A baker, always surrounded by the smell of freshly baked bread. A florist who makes lovely bouquets for graduating youngsters. A photographer who captures beautiful sights to remember. They're our lives, our experiences. You want to be a billionaire with extravagant mansions in the nest? A legendary fixer who can make the syndicates cower in fear just by going on a stroll? What you get from those cans is not real. It's everything in your lives. All of this. There's empty means to an end, so that you can get high on fake purchase experience nailed to a can. If that's all your life is, then my life and the photographs I've taken are all... no, can't be. My life, those experiences and memories I photograph are different. Y'all blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience without a care about the real thing. That's why you're all floundering, grasping at illusions. So, let me show you the things I've shot. The memories, the experiences, the reality of your lives. It was only in passing, by a glimpse of an unmistakable grimace, a scowl on Bassalt's face. I reflected upon the events of today, and could at least begin to guess as to why that might be. You don't believe there's any experience in either the canned experience or that guy's photographs, do you, Basalt? Its experiences and memories aren't the same thing. What really distinguishes them, I wasn't sure. Correct, manager. But what I knew was that the distinction was, for whatever reason, too important to myself. Huh? A figure materializes into a humanoid form, swelling out of the projector. It must be the distortions. And next to him is another figure, stumbling out in a giant suit of armor. Blimey, that thing's still alive? It is but an overlay of phantoms created with a distorted space. The concept of life and death has little meaning for such a thing. Yet faint does she grow. It must be that the distortion's power is waning. Hark. Accused 1. For these are your crimes. Crime of fomenting chaos in the foreign ring while impersonating Shu Unokans of Salpipio Agro-Industries. The crime exploiting the suffering of Salpipio Agro-Industries, downtrodden as a mere veil for one's own phantoms. And, though it be but a part of reenactment, impersonating a military commissioner of the kingdom without the royal decree. Pursuant to the law of the homeland, the accused is to be sentenced to the death by beheading. And before we even had the chance to step in or anything, the faint mirage-like warrior brought down her sword on the Dokugrapher's neck, decapitating him. Oh! Can the entity of the phantoms slay one outside it? Such an instance was heretofore never been observed. But as it is happening right now, right before our eyes, I can only say, yes. Young Ilp is a woman of principle. She would have done the same to the bitter end had she truly been here. As the headless body of the inflection point crumbles to the floor, Young Ilp's shape slowly phases out of reality, and we found ourselves back in the projection room. And there? No way! Don't tell me that headless corpse is. We found a large room of injured end corpse, staff thrown pell-mell around the room, and Ezra, who was looking down at the headless body of the Dokugrapher. This is a longer video, isn't it? Well, it is what it is. This must be the last one. Yep, right on. Gotcha, team leader. Oh, sorry, that was my thinking something in my throat. And that's the initial report done. Good work, guys. Tucking her radio back in, Ezra commanded us in the relieved voice. The distortion has perished in the mission, but will that not cause trouble? Yeah, that kinda sucks. But it's not like your guys could help it. Who would have thought that the distortion would kill its own inflection point? If we knew that in advance, probably would have prepared something to stop it, but... well, that's for the LCD and team leader to investigate. All in all, this mission was still a success, since we managed to eradicate the distortion from Mancorp. Not to mention satisfying our client. Also, as we looked toward Ongdu and Kim with a light-hearted shrug, clearly less concerned than she had been earlier. Now I finally know why you've been disappearing on your own without letting us know. Well, you don't seem to have any more reason to, though, so it's all good. Hey, that's the real win of this mission in my book. Phew-wee. The point is, we did it. We did the thing. It's done. Gosh, I swear, I am never doing one of these without the team leader ever again. Seriously, I got this close to losing it more than a few times. It seemed that the responsibility of looking after her LCD juniors had kept her stressed and high-strung throughout the mission. I hadn't noticed it, but her brows had finally relaxed, bringing back the chipper Ezra I was more familiar with. Thus, I shall not abide by more of your indolence. You will now join us on missions and tasks as you are expected to. Is that understood, Mentor? And would you mind releasing the hems of my sleeve? Oh, what I wouldn't give to lie down and pass out right about now. The raw emotion in Kim's voice had likewise faded, and Vangdu's voice no longer as barbed as it had been in the Phantoms, continuing to that the two were back to the more relaxed selves I knew. I can't exactly say more relaxed for Kim though, Because that's how he's always been, at least from what I've seen in any case. Fine, you were released. Whew. You're giving me a good, hard shake. I don't feel so good. Say, young dude, I'm afraid they may have gone overboard with upgrading your arm. With your hand released, allow me to reiterate that. Stop. My heart finds peace as well as I watch them bicker. Is everyone doing okay? Yes, Executive Manager. Our forces have only suffered minor injuries that do not require you to go through the trouble of rewinding the clock. Hang on, mate. I've got a dislocated shoulder. I can pop that right back into place for you. Allow me. I've taken care of similar injuries in the field. Yeah, and guess what happened the last time I let you do that? You rotated my bloody arm the wrong way and turned the bones in my shoulder into little chips. Don't sweat it. I can rewind that. By now, I already grown used to the pain of rewinding the sinner's injuries. I dislocated shoulder shouldn't be a big deal. I have ought to ask thee a clarification if thou will. Yeah? Dost thou recall now, as we battled the end chords? Pin frame team. The foes have taken photographs of us. And there are those who were sent to identify and capture the one who will have violated a taboo, forsooth. As we stood in the path, this is no mystery why we had to come to blows. Yeah, I find this to be most perplexing. Wherefore did they take so many photographs of us? Maybe they were taking photographs to report their locations? Recording footage is taboo in Encore. They can't install any security cameras here. The only option for keeping a consistent record when tracking down the case or a person is by photographs. And dying words hold water. Yet, why would you put this in my face? Most puzzling forsooth. For I recall with clarity that, from a certain point, they had begun photographing us with renewed obsession. Oh! Hey! That sounds like a question for Missile. Given how often I had to rely on the information both have provided me in this mission, I think I've gotten enough practice on how to phrase my questions the right way and pull the answers I need from him. I couldn't get to him to tell us his own judgments on matters, but since he seems to have a near photographic memory of what he's seen. Russell, do you remember how many pictures of us the End Corps staff took? I do. 56 times. 56?! That's a lot of pictures. You actually remember the exact number of times he shot us? I do. It's always so neat seeing his memory in action. So, did you get the chance to see which one of us got the most photographs taken? I did. Oh? Who is it? Who is it? Is it me? I make for a fine model if I do say so myself. No, it wasn't you. It was me. Huh? But why? What's the most statistically likely reason that it was you? It was at that moment that I heard the sound of pebbles crunching on their boots approaching us louder and louder. What the heck? End quote. Oh, dang it. You're here because we beat up some of your guys? Listen here. We had to, because of the distortion. See? It is as she says, the skirmish was an unfortunate consequence of combating the distortion phenomenon. Limits Company provides a customer damage compensation program in case of such unforeseen events. Instead of engaging us in battle, please elect to contact the emergency response team at our headquarters as your first. Yes, we fully understand the circumstance surrounding the battle, and we intend to submit an expeditious request for damage compensation as you have recommended. But we are here on different business. So if you would be so kind as to let us speak. Different business? They are here to arrest me, manager. Hold on, Miss Salt. Let's hear them out. Wait, what? Miss Salt did not resist. He walked past us and joined a group of Ancorp employees. Please confirm that you are Mersault, formerly One Who Nails. One Who Nails? Bro. So we had One Who Grips for Cromer, and One Who... I'm sorry, these are some crazy names that you're thinking of in a certain point of view. And a former member of the maintenance and management team, and the Grand Magasin Sifri headquarters. Confirmed. By the decree of the Giants, you have been expelled from Endcourt with imprisonment as a penalty for non-compliance. Pursuant to Article 12 of the eviction regulations, you have also seen been informed that remaining in Encar's district for more than 6 hours may subject you to immediate arrest. Please confirm that your memory pertaining to the above incident has not been expunged and you are sound in mind to recall it entirely. Confirmed. Very well. Then, in keeping with the regulations, I hereby notify you that you are now subject to arrest and transport. Place your hands behind your back and please offer no resistance. I am required to inform you that resistance may incur the further penalties. Wait, stop! What the hell is going on? Wait, forget all that. Did you know this would happen, Miss Holt? Miss Holt, who stood calmly with his arms behind his back as the N-Corp employees handcuffed him, nodded passively in my direction. I did, manager. Then, why the heck didn't you want... It was less a question and more a reflex, but I didn't need to hear his reply to know why. Right. I never asked, did I? You did not. I said you should have warned us way earlier, but you just replied, I will follow those instructions going forward, right? Yes, I would. Subject now in custody. From this moment onward, you are considered a suspect and will be transferred to N-Corp headquarters for your trial. As for the rest of you, which would be the organization the suspect is a part of, organize your arse. What in the bloody hell do you think you're... Heathcliff, you're about to antagonize N-Corp, a wing. In the absence of reasonably justifiable cause, such as a contract, engaging in battle with the city's corporate entities is strongly discouraged. Yeah? And we're just supposed to twiddle our thumbs while they drag him away? There's probably another piece of information they neglected to tell me. Yeah, another development that was set in stone. Despite her calm and collected explanation, I could tell that this was not a pleasant situation for Foz either, as she was sending an uncomfortable glance at Encore's employees. So, where are you taking him? A retrial will be scheduled for the execution of the exile sentence. They replied dispassionately as they took Miss Salt into custody. I looked back at them, not knowing what to do or say. The late afternoon sun pricked at us like 1,000 hot needles. Miss Salt, now in cuffs, gazed at us with an expression that would not have seemed out of place on any ordinary day. So, that just happened. Wait a minute, what did that mean? Lesall is off the team from now on? Oh, that sucks. Too. And that's the last of that. Yes, sir. This video ends here now.